Our second recipient tonight is the distinguished young alumna Kinkaid by way of Howe from the class of 1995. Ms. Howe is the New York Times best-selling and award-winning author of 4 novels and a nonfiction book. Her best-known work is the physics book of Deliverance Dane, which debuted at number 2 on the New York Times bestseller list and was named one of USA Today's top 10 books of 2009. She has also written 2 successful novels since, Conversion and The Appearance of Annie Van Sinderen. Her fiction has been translated into over 20 languages. Ms. Howe is the daughter of Kinkaid graduates Catherine Sussman Howe and George Howe, both from the class of 1964. And tonight she becomes a second-generation recipient, as her mother was honored as a distinguished alumna in 2011. Ms. Howe entered Kinkaid in kindergarten and graduated in 1995. Outside of the classroom, she was active in many areas, including Falcon Wings Orchestra, where she earned All-State all 4 years in upper school, the Prep Bowl, the Environmental Club, and Amnesty International. She holds a BA in Art History and Philosophy from Columbia University and an MA in American and New England Studies from Boston University. She is married to Louis Hyman, a professor at Cornell, and they live in New England and New York. And here is a short video about Ms. Howe.
I met Kate when I came to Kinkaid in the 8th grade, and immediately she made me feel welcome. She was so down to earth, she was so friendly.
I think she got along well with everybody, and I think everybody liked Kate. She was just a very genuine, honest person, very true to herself. Even though she maybe wasn't cut out of the same mold as everyone else, I think she got along really well in our class.
Kate had little concern. Social norms didn't bother her. She honestly was her own person from the very beginning.
She read, and very often 3 times the same book. She wanted to read it and appreciate the narrative. Sometimes she wanted to look at the nuances of it and just otherwise just go back and enjoy.
I would think that that's where she obtained the talent to craft what she wrote.
She was very serious about competing. That's one thing about Kate. Whatever she does it well. She's extremely accomplished, so I just remember her being a superstar and being super smart.
I have no recollection of where she was in the hierarchy of things. She got into some pretty good colleges, chose a really good one, Columbia.
We had a saying around our house, and that Kate never let her classwork get in the way of what she really wanted to learn.
For about 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 years, we were on the Prep Bowl team together, which was the academic quiz bowl. But she had a depth of knowledge that was really unrivaled. You could rely on Kate to answer questions ranging from expressionist art of the early 20th century to the Bronte sisters to Mariah Carey. She would get questions right that none of us knew.
You know, how many teenage boys do you know that have a real good command of literature, you know? And she was the only girl on the team. She knew the literature and was invaluable to us because many of the questions dealt with that particular subject.
When I found out that her book was going to be published, I wasn't really surprised. If you had told me the year we graduated that a member of our class was going to be a New York Times best-selling author, I would have guessed Kate first. It's not surprising at all to me.
Again, we always knew she was a wonderful writer. But no, I don't know that anybody could have foreseen that.
Thank God for social media and Facebook, and we've been able to keep up with each other. Whenever she's in her writing mode, she'll post different things, and I'll be able to see what she's doing when her new projects are released.
The central figures in her books are females for the most part. When she was in my AP history class, kids could choose their own topics. And the topic she chose, interestingly enough, was the origins of feminism. She wasn't a raving feminist by any stretch, but she was interested, you know.
She was over the moon when she heard that she had been chosen. it was, in a way, a validation that she had never received before.
She was just always so warm and kind. That's exactly what I remember about Kate. This award couldn't be going to anybody more deserving.
Kate and Lewis both have very warm, deep souls. They cherish friends. They don't care whether they're from high or from low. They keep in touch with them, and they have this base of people all over the United States who
and beyond.
And beyond, yes, and they're always embracing them. It's really, really nice to see.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid I have to correct a misapprehension in that video. I absolutely was and am a raving feminist. I don't know how to make that mistake. I also owe you guys an apology. I was explicitly told repeatedly, in person, on the phone, and over email that the dress code was boots and blue jeans. But I realized a couple of years ago, I crossed the Rubicon where I've been living on the East Coast now longer than I lived in Texas. So when you say boots and blue jeans, I just hear wear black. It will sound like hyperbole, but Kinkaid made me who I am today. I actually mean that literally. My parents, George and Kath, met here in 8th grade. So without Kinkaid, I would not exist. It was a real shock, in truth, to be invited back as a distinguished young alumna, for a couple of reasons. First, I just turned 39, so yeah. But mainly, I was surprised because I was hardly a distinguished Kinkaid student. My career in undistinguishment started with falling asleep on my mother's lap during the entrance interview for kindergarten, and ended with my graduating 13 years later without honors, with an overall lifetime GPA of 86. I got into college largely because my guidance counselor was the kind of Texan woman, smiling, possibly armed, that strikes fear into the hearts of timid East Coast admissions officers. When I left Kinkaid in 1995, it was generally agreed by my parents and teachers that I had failed to live up to my potential. But somewhere in the midst of that festival of undistinguishment, a word which, taking a page from Faulkner, who I learned in Callie Law's English class, invents words, I'm inventing for this occasion, Kinkaid gave me the tools to become the person I am. Dedicated teachers, such as a French teacher who took the time to read Sartre in the original with me during my free periods, or a biology teacher who took the time to encourage my writing while on a trip during interim term in Big Bend, or band and orchestra leaders who let me compete with the high schoolers even though I was a lowly middle schooler, therefore encouraging my middle school life. Dedicated teachers taught me how to reason, think, read, analyze, and most importantly for me anyway, write. I started writing every day as part of a language arts program in 4th grade, and I never stopped. Coaches who were gamely undaunted by my total lack of athleticism. I vividly remember Coach Wallace once calling out, "Kate, we may have finally found your sport," as I helped by in a field hockey game. Unfortunately, I was on the volleyball team. An arts program which allowed me to pursue both music and creative writing, when many schools would make a student choose just one, or increasingly, offer neither. My involvement in the arts taught me the value of culture and expression, while also teaching me to be able to perform under pressure. I will tell you that being asked about my sexual past on Italian late-night television is nothing compared to Texas All-State Orchestra competition. But most importantly, Kinkaid gave me a community of phenomenal people. The maid of honor at my wedding was a Kinkaidian, When grad school friends moved to Houston and needed to buy a house, I gave them the name of a girl I knew from carpool. At a book reading in Denver, where I thought I knew no one, and was anticipating a typical book tour evening of moping alone watching Law & Order reruns on TNT in a courtyard by Marriott. Instead, a Kinkaidian shows up with her husband and takes me to dinner. When I go to New York for work, I catch up with Kinkaidians doing amazing things in finance, culture, and the arts. My husband is even soon planning to Skype in to a top-secret advanced Dungeons & Dragons game being run by some of my oldest friends from Kinkaid. What a gift Kinkaid has given me. My existence, my job, my world, my life.